Welcome to Brains on Games. I'm Dr. Brian McDonald, and this episode we're going to be covering a game that's recommended by scientists. In fact, it is a game that has been researched in terms of the benefits that it could have for your brain and your memory, and it's a game from a series called Brainwaves. In this case, we're talking about The Wise Whale. This is a game that can be played with one player, but all the way up to 4 players. It can be played by kids aged 8 and older, and it takes about 15 minutes to get through a game. Let's take a look at these Brainwaves cards. So I've laid out a little bit of a grid here that you can see 6 of the cards. Usually it would be a 9-card grid, so there would be another row at the top, but I couldn't fit all of those on the screen at the same time. At the beginning of the game, your grid is going to look something like this, like I said, with those extra cards. So you can see that there are some sea creatures and they have different color backgrounds. Depending on the difficulty level that you want to play, that's what different cards you put in the deck. So you might only have some of the colors and some of the different animals, or you might be playing with more of them depending on how difficult you want to make this thing. So at the beginning of the game, it's going to look like this. You'll take a little while to look at the cards. When everybody's ready, or after about 2 minutes, you flip these cards over. Okay, and the idea of the game, just like that memory card game that you may have played when you were younger, where you've got the deck of face-down cards and you're trying to find pairs, the idea of this game is that you're going to try and match the cards. You're either trying to match the background color or the animal on the front of the card. So you have 2 ways that you can do it. So you start like this. So you flip over that top card on the deck, and we've got a seahorse with a purple background. And I remember, I feel like this card probably had a purple background, okay? And so you could see that this would count as a match. Even though the animals are different, the colors are the same. So that would count as a match. Now, if I had chosen this one over here, that's not a match at all. Now, either way, regardless of which I've chosen, this card, if I make a mistake or if I get it right, this card is coming out of the grid, okay? If I've made a mistake, it goes to the bottom of the draw deck, and then the new card goes in its place. If I got it right, I keep the card that I chose, the matching one, it comes out, and then this other card goes in its place. Now that's where the complexity comes in. Just like that old card game with the deck of 52 cards that you would typically use, you're looking at a visual memory exercise when you're trying to remember the locations of those cards. Visual memory and spatial memory, right? Because you're trying to remember its position in the grid. What elevates this game, what makes it a game that maybe would be more challenging even for adults, is the fact that the cards in the grid continually change. Whether you get a match or you don't get a match, a card is coming out, another card is going in its place. Now that card might have a different animal on it but the same color, or it might be completely different if you've missed your match. And so that's where it becomes a working memory exercise. You are not just remembering locations and visualizing the animals or the colors that are on the cards. You've really got to work on, well, when did I see that, as well as where was it in the grid? And remember that working memory is the whiteboard in your mind where you keep information in order to work with that information. And the researchers who've studied this card game have found it to have an impact on working memory. So you're looking at, great artwork. I really like the drawings of these sea creatures on the cards. You've got great artwork. It's colorful. It's a quick little game, and it exercises those different kinds of memory: visual memory, spatial memory, and working memory as well. So there you go. That's a quick overview of a quick game called Brainwaves: The Wise Whale. If you have any questions or suggestions, if you have questions about the games behind me even if it's not about the game that we just looked at, you can always reach me at brian@brainsongames.ca. Brainsongames.ca is the website where you can find the previous episodes, and future episodes will be posted up there too. Brains on Games is the name on Twitter. It's the name on Instagram. It's the Facebook page, so you can find us all over the place. And if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to be notified when future videos come up, press that subscribe button on YouTube. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully you'll come back next time.